Welcome to the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
The home to audio dramas created by the Three Ranger Bros themselves.
Here they have built stories as a team, coming together with their storytelling ability and creating new tales and adventures for you guys to listen to.
These stories have been worked on by the Three Bros, and here we have a channel dedicated to them.
All the stories in this channel have been worked on by all three bros. Each story is crafted.
Then they make their own unique original characters, which they will do the voices of.
They explore many different fandoms and give unique takes and ideas within their favorite fictional worlds.
And best of all, they have created this channel to invite you, the listener, to join them in these fantastic tales. So strap in and dive into the Three Ranger Bros audio library.
Power Rangers Global Royal Blue Rebirth Chapter 1 Lightning Strikes Part 1. 4 months had passed since Loki beat the Power Rangers Global team. Elias had learned how to manage with his new arm. Heimdall had made more of an appearance, sticking around more, teaching the Rangers about the gods and monsters that awaited them. A few weeks back, the global team was a part of a massive multiversal event which resulted in the universe being drained of all life for a short period of time. And Mark was involved in the final front in solving the issue, and the team themselves was now very bored. 4 months had passed since Loki beat the Power Rangers global team, and they had not heard a single word people whisper from Loki, Nephis, or any other godlike minions. Loki himself was hidden away, with the ghost of Lancelot and King Arthur. Nephis was sat in the Cloud City on her throne. God, I am so bored, Nephis sighed as she slumped in the oversized chair.
Yeah? And how do you think we feel?
Thor grunted from the cage. Shut up, Sparkles, Nephis barked. He has a point. Aren't you meant to be taking down the Rangers, beating your opposing forces, carrying on Loki's reign? Zeus piped up. I ain't his lackey. I work for myself, Nephis snapped.
Please, he made you go around the multiverse doing some chores like a maid. Made you stronger for his own benefit. Then you're here watching over his prisoners while he dances with ghosts of Rangers to make himself more of a pest. You are a book definition of a lackey.
Thor chuckled. Nephis bolted out of the chair and stopped at the large cage, where the prime gods all stood. Thor knelt against the cage bars with a snarly grin cutting through his beard. Nephis pressed her morpher, and the cage started vibrating, sending energy pulses through the gods and goddesses. They all cried out in pain, and then it stopped. You know what, Zeus and Thor, gods of lightning and thunder? You guys want to run your mouths? Fine, let's finally do something, she smirked. She pulled out the Nega skull and held it up. Both Thor and Zeus was absorbed into the skull. The skull glowed, then spat out 2 energy orbs, both orbs turning into monsters. Thor was now a hulking Viking. Its armor was black and grey. His beard was now dancing shadows that hung off its face. His eyes burning red, and in his hand was Mjolnir, no longer silver or grey, but now daunting black. Thor's thunderous hammer was now a weapon of mass destruction. Zeus had been turned into a grey monster covered in black storm clouds. They covered the top of his head, transpiraling down around his torso, then exceeded off of his waist, forming into some form of coat. His eyes were bright blur, which matched the flashes that sparked through the black clouds that clung to him. There. Now both you will go beat the Rangers. And I have an added bonus. Nephis trailed off. She skipped over to the small bookshelf that sat above the tables filled with potions, chalk, scrapped notes, and random ingredients. She pulled out a book and opened it. She tore out one of the pages and placed it on the floor, and with her sword she slashed it. Then, in a poof of grey smoke, Celtic stone warriors appeared. How about some new foot soldiers? Nephis grinned. At the Museum and Library of Ancient History, which had been temporarily been closed for reconstruction, Mark and Eric was training. Himiko had her head in a book, Elias was talking to Heimdall, and Lip and Brohan were looking at the map going over potential targets across the world. Suddenly, the new and improved alarm beeped at their communicators. Brohan rushed over to the back room and sat at the computer. There he typed away and a video feed of an infinite lightning strike hitting the ground. It kept ripping out of the clouds and hitting the ground continuously. The surrounding city was having major problems with their electricity, a clear result from the infinite lightning strike.
Whoa, a continuous thunderstrike. This has to be a god, right?
Mark asked.
Only a few come to mind.
Himiko replied.
It seems like we finally get to see some action.
Eric smirked, smacking his fist into his palm. On the video feed, a monster could be seen headed towards the city with an army of stone Celtic warriors. They aren't mummies, though, Lip stated.
That is my brother.
Heimdall said as he pointed at the monitor.
Wait, that's Thor. How did you know that?
Elias asked like a fanboy.
It's almost like I can see him through the monster facade.
Heimdall muttered.
I have a theory about this, but I need more evidence.
Elias said, stroking his chin. Anyway, back at the task at hand, Monster Thor and his new army of what I can only describe as stone versions of Celtic warriors are heading towards San Francisco. Brohan stated.
Alright team, let's go. We've had 4 months of layback, but it's time we get back into action.
Mark announced.
May I come with this time?
Heimdall asked. You want to come with us, Rick? Lip asked.
He is my half-brother. Maybe I can help.
Heimdall suggested.
You stay back, though, okay? We don't need to be worrying about you, too.
Himiko demanded. Heimdall nodded, and then Mark led the group outside where Heimdall caught upon the Bifrost, and the rainbow light exploded from the sky and engulfed the team. As the rainbow died down, the team was gone. The monster Thor strolled through the streets of San Francisco with his stone warriors attacking the running away, fearful civilians. He threw his hammer, which crashed into a truck, sending the truck flying through the air. A group of young kids stopped in the middle of the road and ducked down in fear of the flying truck coming towards them. Suddenly, the Red Cornish Ranger landed before them and swung his power sword, slicing the truck into two. The two truck halves crashing onto the road, and the Red Cornish Ranger turned around and gave the thumbs up to the group of kids. They shyly returned the thumbs up and then scattered away to safety. The rest of the Rangers landed next to the Red Cornish Ranger.
We've been on hiatus for a while, so let's keep this clean, quick, and remind Loki's army why we are the Power Rangers Global.
The Red Cornish Ranger told his team. Everybody nodded and ran into the small army of stone warriors. The gold Celtic warrior ran in and blocked an incoming punch. He then grabbed its wrist and pulled the warrior close and kicked the stone warrior in the chest, then the stomach. Then with a quick rotation, he swiveled on his heel and he kicked out with his opposing foot and kicked the warrior off its feet. It hit the ground hard and shattered, crumbling into rock. Then one warrior swung a thick stone sword and slashed the Gold Ranger across the chest. But before it could strike a second time, the Gold Celtic Ranger summoned his golden javelin. The tip extended and penetrated the face of the stone warrior, causing it to crumble away. The pink Japanese warrior sped through the army. She stopped and spun around and threw several pink shuriken. They struck several warriors, then she held up 2 fingers and each shuriken exploded. Several warriors exploded into rock. The Red Cornish Ranger was locked into a sword dance with 3 warriors. He held up his sword and blocked a sword slash. He then quickly swiveled his blade, which disarmed the opponent. He then, with a quick slash, the warrior was no more. Then he dropped down and dodged a swing of a warrior's sword. He then quickly bounced back up, swinging his sword upright, cutting the warrior in half. Then he jabbed the tip of his blade behind him, catching the third warrior who was about to strike down on his back. The blue Viking warrior used his shield to block several incoming attacks. He suddenly became bombarded by multiple strikes. He knelt there, shield raised, his blade on his sword became water, and he stabbed it into the ground. Suddenly, a Viking warrior made of pure water appeared behind the stone warriors and rammed them with his water-made axe. They all stumbled, allowing the Blue Ranger to jump up and strike each one with his sword, defeating all of them. The Ranger of Ra summoned his talons, turning his fingers into claws, and he slashed the stone warriors several times. He then summoned one of his wings, and he dragged the tip across the ground, tripping one of the warriors up. The Rangers cleared the stone warriors and turned to the monster form of Thor, who was slamming his hammer into buildings, turning certain walls and structures into rubble with a spark of electricity between them. The Rangers gathered around the godlike monster.
Rangers? Ha! I will smite you down.
Thor barked. Heimdall ran in and stood between his half-brother, turned monster, and his new Ranger friends.
Please, brother, hear me. You must break through this magic bind. You are Thor, god of thunder, the mighty, the brave. You have conquered. You have taken down the mightiest of foes. Brother, listen to my voice. Come back to me. Come back to your people. They need you.
Heimdall called out. Thor growled, not able to acknowledge his half-brother. Through the fuzzy mirage the magic of the Negaskull had cast when he transformed into the monster the Rangers saw before him. Thor swung his hammer, which smacked Heimdall, sending him flying back. He crashed into a store window, landing inside the store. The pink Japanese Ranger sent several shuriken at Thor, who spun his hammer as it returned into his hand, and the rapid rotation acted like a shield and deflected the shuriken with a spark of electricity, each one landing on the floor around the monster.
Ha! Predictable.
The pink Japanese Ranger chuckled. She then held up 2 fingers and the shurikens exploded into a pink fog. The White Ranger of Ra summoned his wings and took flight. He glided over and started flying around the pink fog, causing the wind to drag along with him, starting a pig fog twister around the monster. The other 3 Rangers ran in. The global Celtic Ranger smacked Thor with his javelin across the face. The blue Viking Ranger slashed Thor with his sword and ran him with his shield. The red Cornish Ranger came in with a double slash with the dragon dagger and saber. Thor staggered, then he raised his hammer into the air and lightning ripped from the clouds and hit Mjolnir. There was a massive shockwave that rippled off the impact and threw all the Rangers off their feet, which also knocked the White Ranger of Ra out of the air and diminished the pink fog whirlwind. The Rangers all stood and gathered together as Thor stood there in his monstrous form, ready for the next attack. Rangers, I hate to say it, but Thor and his infinite thunderstrike is not our only dilemma, Brohan said into their communicators.
What's going on, Brohan?
The red Cornish Ranger asked. We have another infinite lightning strike, directly on the opposite side of the world in the Indian Ocean. The Rangers stood before Thor, who was ready to make an attack. Then they had to deal with 2 infinite lightning strikes on polar opposite ends of the entire planet. It truly seemed like their little vacation was truly over.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the 3 Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by 3 cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Tai Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.